Hello and happy new year. I wanted to just share my predictions for 2025. I always tend to do this at the end of the year, just kind of reflect, see what trends I see are happening or where I see the industry going. And I really do believe that, and this isn't something new, I've been talking for several years about how I feel social media is shifting. And that's why I decided to kind of change gears or pivot in my business a little bit where we want to focus more on brand strategy. And the reason why is because social media is so saturated right now. And I don't mean it in a bad way, but every day you get millions of new accounts created, and we're all fighting for attention and the algorithm and all these things. And I think we as consumers are just flooded with information all the time. I mean, you can't even hop in a cab and not see ads, your ads on the subway, ads on your phone as you're trying to watch videos. We are just bombarded 24/7. And so I believe that we're really going to see authenticity come to fruition. And I know we talk about that all the time, especially if you have listened to me for a while. I am so rooted in finding what works for you and what that is for your audience as well. What actually works for the people that you're talking to? Because not all of us are going to find success by dancing on TikTok, right? Or by following a trend. And I think there's so much pressure around that, so much pressure around trying to be funny, trying to entertain. And in the midst of all this, we lose why we are using social media, why we're using email marketing, why we're putting ourselves out there in the first place. So I do believe that authenticity will be a major differentiator in 2025. I was talking to a colleague earlier, and she was even saying how she's slowly starting to pass, just go past videos that are sort of like that trendy content. And she admitted that she's creating that kind of content, but she's scrolling past it. So even we go through it as marketers where because we feel forced to kind of perform for the algorithm to reach the people we need to, we sort of forget ourselves or do things that maybe we're not even paying attention to ourselves, right? Because we think that's what the algorithm is going to favor. And that's why my teaching style is so different. I don't always just teach a follow this step by step solution and you're going to blow up because it doesn't work like that anymore. 15 years ago? Yeah. You could put one post up and go viral. It just does not work like that anymore. We really need to work on building connections, on focusing on what our audience needs to hear from us, and really honing in on who we are and our message as a person, as a brand, as a personal brand, organization, association. What is it that you stand for and what makes you different? And you have to ask yourself the questions that lead you there. And a follow the step by step program is not going to get you, it might, but doesn't always get you the answers that you need in order to really get focused on that foundation of what makes your brand different. It doesn't help you get to the foundation of what actual steps you need to take next in order to move your brand forward, to move your brand closer to the goals that you have. I think again, we've gotten lost in this world of getting attention, trying to reach the audience that you want, and you can. It might take a little longer, but I think building from a place of your point of view, what your audience actually needs, how you help, is more beneficial in the end than chasing, trying to attract an audience And then from that audience, trying to weed out who actually is going to be listening to you, paying attention to what you have to say, buying from you. So why don't we just do that from the start? Is it more work? Yes. Can there be viral hits in there? Of course. That's always a possibility. But I think people, as always, more and more, we become really conscious of where we spend our money, who we listen to, what information we take in. And if you're just dancing on TikTok following a trend, that's not going to connect. That's not going to connect. You cannot build a brand within legacy that creates a legacy without having a very clear idea of who you are and what you stand for. And to follow up with that and be consistent with that message. Because the reason why you recognize Coca-Cola and McDonald's is because they've been consistent for decades at this point. They've built that rapport. So how do you become, and I'm not saying you need to be the next Coca-Cola or McDonald's, but how do you have that vibe? How do you build that legacy, that connection with your audience, that emotional connection that is all rooted in you communicating who you are, what you stand for, how you can help. And you're not going to get there through a step-by-step program. So, if there's anything you do to get yourself prepared for this upcoming year, if you are starting brand new, or if you're looking to refresh, or you just need a pivot, I highly suggest you work on figuring out what your goals are, your big goals. What do they look like? And figuring how to get there step by step so you don't overwhelm yourself. But then also figuring out what is your point of view? What does make you stand out? What about the way that you do things makes you different? I can tell you that, yes, I do offer strategy in a step by step format, but the core of what you learn when you buy a program from me is that you learn about yourself and you have to put in work. That's the other thing. I'm not here to hold your hand and tell you post 3 times a week at 1 p.m. and make a joke, and that's how you're going to get popular. No, that's not what we're doing here. I want to empower every client that I work with to be able to do this without me. That's my goal. So that's why when you purchase a program from me, you're going to see that there is some step by step stuff, obviously, but it's a lot of it is really digging into those elements that I talked about because that's what's going to really make you stand out. So please, going forward, think about what your goals are, but really, really get clear on your mission, who you are, how you do things differently. And I'm not saying go reaching and, you know, just be outrageous to be outrageous. There should be intention behind everything. That's another thing I'm big on is just really being intentional. Uh, but what makes you stand out? What makes you you? Because in a sea of a million of everything with all the information at our fingertips, that's what's going to make you stand out. Okay. So, what makes you you? Think about that. And if you need help with getting to that, I have my profitable posting on Instagram bootcamp, which is not just about Instagram. It really helps you figure out your point of view, content that how to get to content that reflects who you are, but also serves your audience. And of course, I have the my audio series, Intentional Instagram Impact. Again, not just for Instagram, but it really digs into how you can deliver your message, how you can deliver the message in a way that lands, in a way that feels authentic to you and that works for you and your audience. All right. So that's all I've got to say. We keep it short and sweet here because I do not have time to fluff things for you. So I'm wishing you a very happy 2025, happy, profitable ease. That's what we want in 2025. And here's to a great year. Thank you and see you all next time.